Hello, Internet, and welcome to First Fridays. It's not the first Friday, but it is a Friday, and it's going to be the Friday of the week. I am so excited. I came in like a hot mess, and these fine folks have been really accommodating because this is the part that I was looking forward to today. We have a guest GM running Hexfall off the Caltrop core system that they invented. So, I mean, can't get better than that. I just want to introduce everyone. So I will turn it over to our guest GM, Lex, to take us into the world of Hexfall, and we're all going to go for a dive. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Also, all subs tonight will go to the GM's charity of choice. And so I'd love if you could speak to that too, Lex.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Lex, also known as Titanomachy RPG on Twitter. I'm an indie game designer. I created Caltrop Core, which is a simple D4-based game system that you can build pretty much any game on. I released it last October, and there's more than 200 games already built on it. And in fact, like the vast majority of those were created within 2 game jams. So it's been really cool to see the growth of the system and the community surrounding it, and all the really, really weird stuff that people make on my little system. So I'm very grateful. Hexfall is my project from the last game jam. I try to make a game while the game jam's going, so I can also be in it with everybody, because that's the fun of it. And I've since added to it, expanded it, and so we're going to play this new version of Hexfall. This is the first time it's ever being played on stream, as far as I know, and it's also still in playtesting, so bear with me, please. Today's charity is the Marsha P. Johnson Institute, which promotes Black trans lives and helps them find resources and offers a lot of community aid to stuff. It is not one of the more known ones. Usually the easy button is Trevor Project, which is great because I also give to Trevor Project, but Marsha P. Johnson Institute to really help people who really don't get any help or respect or anything at all in our if you want to call it, in our culture. So I just want to benefit that. Hopefully, if y'all want to sub and donate, please do. We'll send it straight there. I'm not even touching any of the money. I just running the game to help out.
I'm touching it only to pass it forward. So
yes. Yeah. So in Hexfall, I'm trying to think, should we introduce the players first before I kind of get into the intro?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll just go, I'll start with Allegra. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us your character's name and the playbook you've chosen, but we'll just do that so that we could just get that sort of like quick and sweet intro.
Hey, I'm Allegra. My pronouns are they, them. And I am playing Keth Ironwind, a Giantborn.
Hell yeah. Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan Ormond. Pronouns are they, them. I'm playing Kingfisher, a Wyvernbound.
Lou.
Hi, I'm Lou. Pronouns are they, them. And I am playing Onyx Star, a Horizon-clad.
Hell yeah. And Shane.
I'm Shane, pronouns they, them, and I'm playing the Vulcanist, Roxy Nosedive.
Hey, and Allison, bring it home.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Allison, pronouns she, her. I am playing the Geometurge, Clockwork, pronouns she, her.
Hell yeah. So we have the they them takeover on Insight Check's stream today.
Hell yeah.
Just say as long as you say they, you're probably referring to someone. And we love to see it. Hexfall is my take on what is traditionally known as a hex crawl, as a type of old school war game / RPG in which there's a map full of hexes, and each hex has a different thing, like maybe it's a forest or it's a different encounter, and typically you'll roll to traverse the terrain or to traverse like an event table almost. I decided I wanted to do a Hexfall because I just kind of was thinking about the name, and then I found a really cool hex flower tech over on Goblin's Henchman blog, I believe. A really cool 2d6 engine for this, for a hex crawl, and then I adapted it to 3d4 for Caltrip Core. So Hexfall takes place in Stratus Key, which is a floating city in the Rift, a digital quantum dimension at the intersection of the smallest black hole in the multiverse and the concept of becoming. The city is made of countless islands, a hyperreal archipelago adrift in flashing interdimensional lights. People here take on whatever form they feel is their true self, reconfiguring their bodies whenever necessary. An infinite smattering of lives as varied and precious as the stars themselves. Our party here are a bunch of hyper-powered beings who came into larger-than-life abilities because of a profound cataclysm, heartbreak, grief, the depths. Physical, emotional, multidimensional, something unlocked incredible power in each of our party members. And y'all have many names across Stratus Key, but the most common is Diver. And so today we're gonna go on a dive with our party through the Rift, which is this, wonky, warpy space-time sub-dimension in the middle of a bunch of abstract stuff, which just lets us do whatever we want, which is, of course, my dream at all times, is to just do whatever it is I want. So if you have some sort of scene that you want to play out, some sort of weird space, quantum, sciencey thing that you want to happen to your character, by all means go for it. The possibilities in the Rift are endless. So we're going to just have some fun. The world is flexible, the rules are flexible, and we will just sort of, I think, learn as we go. I think the basic mechanic is you're just going to roll 3d4 on your turn. Your total determines the direction you go on that map. The navigation hex should be on your character sheet to tell you which direction you go when you roll a certain total. Then once you enter that hex, you'll use the individual dice results to determine what happens. And so you kind of have the choice to assign different results to the different tables of the hex, and that'll become clear. We'll just all be feeding you those categories and stuff. It's also in the rulebook, and we will, I'll give page numbers when it's the time. So essentially, this is sort of like a storytelling engine. The map is sort of there just to give us prompts to tell us this fun story together. The divers come into their power through sort of less than happy means, but that doesn't mean we have to be a grimdark session. We can be bright and happy and joyful and everything. And I think, that's sort of the basics of the game. The tactics of it, or not tactics, but strategy of it comes in when you have your 3 dice results and you're trying to choose, where to put your lowest one, where to put, the different ones. So you do have some freedom as to what happens when you advance, but also some of it, as we like to do in our games here, is roll dice about it. So I would love for everyone to place their token, and if you want to make your token a little smaller, I made them pretty big. If you want to take these tokens and place them in the empty space, they don't have to all fit inside the one, but like that empty starting space, I added a little note, but I guess I got it deleted or something. And just everybody, that's our starting point. We will be rolling dice and moving across this board. Now, what happens when you hit an edge? You will appear on the other side and continue moving in that direction. So that's sort of the space-time, whatever it is, the Pac-Man physics, right? You go off one side, you come back on the other side. I think we will start individually. Instead of all of us on this dive together to start, I think the thing about the backstory generator map is I kind of want to give you the freedom to choose when this is happening to you. And because we're in the Rift, these whens can all be happening side by side. And when they intersect, we can decide what happens then and figure it out from there. So do we have a volunteer to be the first to jump into the Rift?
I can go.
Hell yeah. So Shane, you'll roll me 3d4.
Alrighty. Got a 1. I got a 2. I got a 3.
So total is 6. A 6 will take you. Let me grab this. Let me find a navigation hex. 6 will take you down to the right. And then that is the hazard hex. So the hazard hex, as we'll pull up on page 15. Also, a side note, we're going to find out if Hexfall is good for streaming, I guess, tonight. It might not. Some games are not good for streaming, and that's totally okay. But we shall see. Hazard. Dangers of... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm here for this. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
cool. Hazard. Dangers of infinite fractal variations, peril that can cut the body and the soul. Assign each of your 3 roles to one of the following. Environmental hazard. Describe the scenery based on the role you choose. And so there's a table there where you can assign your result. There's 4. This is page 15. The second table you'll be assigning this to is personal hazard. You take one of the following conditions. Tell the table why your character feels this way at this moment. And so there's heartbroken, furious, sealed, stunned, which are all conditions, but also can lead to emotional revelations. If none of those feel right, you can just take one injury instead. So
Okay.
I want to tell you how to feel.
So
If you got it,
an environmental hazard and a personal hazard.
yes. So you have your 3 results, right? You had a 2, a 1, and a 3.
Okay.
You'll assign each of those to one of, and then the final category, which is momentum of will, this will determine how many tokens you receive.
Okay.
So you'll generate these tokens, and we'll get to what tokens do in a moment. But for now, you can assign the 1 to environmental hazard, 2 to personal hazard, 3 to momentum of will, or any combination of that.
All right. So am I describing my character or how does?
Yeah, give us a scene to start. I think choose a moment that from your character's life in the past, or I guess maybe future if you want. I can't tell you. When they were going on a dive and I think what would be most interesting as you've rolled this hazard, I think that might shape why they're on this dive, how they feel as they're on this dive, and sort of like any intense feelings or I think I want to encourage y'all to pick significant moments when we roll into a hex. However, a quote-unquote insignificant moment chosen for a significant reason, that's also, I think, compelling. This is sort of, the way this is going to work is sort of, I want you all to introduce your characters, what they look like, their playbook, and if you want, you can talk about a little bit about why you chose that playbook for this character, and then use the first role of the game as sort of a intro scene, or sort of like a prompts for your intro scene as you jump off the ledge into the rift.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with this extreme rift weather. And I think there's like, the infinity of space and all these bits of debris circling around this storm. And there's a lightning crash and a flash. And from the lightning crash, you see this older woman falling. She's short, I would say. She's got short gray hair. She doesn't look like she's dressed to be in the infinite of space. Like she's wearing a pair of cargo pants. She's got a bomber jacket on.
Hell yeah.
And she is falling. I feel like some divers, are very graceful and they have certain ways to control their fall. She does not do that. She just down. And I think in the kind of clouds of the fall, you can kind of see reflections of a fall that she did before, where that like came through really similar like weather. And you can see that she's falling with another person. Kind of like a younger woman is with her and falling. And then there's kind of like a brief moment where that kind of seems to dominate her thoughts, and then she just keeps falling, and her eyes are just filled with rage, and she's taking the furious roll from the personal hazard, and she's kind of always furious. She's the Volcanist, which is like this is the class that's like built off fury, but a lot of like the power in the Volcanist is how they control their rage, and that doesn't really seem to be there for her anymore. Like she is living as like a pure expression of her rage and living for the fall.
God, Jane, fucking brilliant. I love it. So good. Furious is a condition where you lose control and you can't use abilities or tokens to change your trajectory. So there is a mechanic for changing your trajectory. You don't have to live with the role that you have if you have tokens to change it. And tokens sort of represent narrative economy loosely, I guess. I don't know. It's sort of just like a loose way of for people to invest and spend narrative control, like saying like, hey, I'm choosing to make this true in the world and I'm expending a resource to do it. So it's sort of like there's two types of moves in this game. It's things you can always do and things you can spend a token to do. And so some of these things will generate tokens, some of these will use tokens. And the Volcanist does have a special relationship with the Furious condition. Beautiful, beautiful intro. This is what this is going to be. I'm not GMing, y'all are just describing, so I'm just going to be like, that was great, that was awesome. It's me doing director's commentary on y'all's performance, so I'm very happy. Hell yeah, who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Hell yeah. So Morgan's, your character steps up to the plate. Give us your role and then sort of describe how we'll use this sort of first roll as a prompt.
So I got a 2, a 2, and a 3.
So that is a 7 total. You will fall straight down towards the mist hex. And the mist apparently should get like bookmarks for this PDF. The mist, this is on page 16 of the PDF. A mist hex doesn't have to be actual mist. Rather, it's any area where you can get lost, physically, in a reverie, or both. Assign each of your 3 rolls to one of the following. So this one has 3 little blurbs to assign your dice roll to as well. The third one is also momentum of will, which is determining how many tokens you get. A lot of the hexes will just will give you tokens for entering it, and that's momentum of will, which is, to me, what I think is kind of open to interpretation, obviously, but for me, it's sort of like this thing that you go through hardening your resolve, right? And then you get this sort of extra power that you can use to spend for other of your cool abilities, which we'll see soon. But the other 2 is location and visions. So Morgan, if you want to assign those dice results to these tables, and then use that to kind of give your intro and when your character is in their life. And if anyone wants to use Shane's outline for this first turn, please do. It was perfect.
Yeah, I think I'll use... So I assign the dice to different numbers here, right?
Yes, so if... Oh, go.
So like for location, for example, I can assign it the 3.
Yes.
For underwater caverns. And so I think, is this like back in the city?
It can be. I think the mist is sort of whatever you need it to be. It could be like that your character is literally traveling back to this moment and watching themselves back in time and are powerless to stop yourself. It could also be just like a fog that reminds you of a time in your life, and the scene that plays out is entirely in your head. I kind of like it as supernatural or weird or normal as you want it to be. It's all up to you.
So I think, kind of supernaturally, we're in these underwater caverns that are taking the shape of like an old memory. And I come in and I'm kind of like this gorgeous man on a surfboard. And under the surfboard, you see the number 9,000 on it. And when I rock into the underwater caverns, the surfboard and I separate, and the surfboard becomes my wyvern.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, where are we? And you can see kind of like this like luscious hair, like just always like breeze blown, and I'm wearing like a puka shell necklace.
Yes.
I'm gonna use a 2 for tell about something I miss. And I think usually when I've done dives in the past, I've had like a lucky rock that I found once that like just always gave me good luck on dives, and I've lost it.
Oh no, the lucky stone. I
don't know if I like left it at home or like did I drop it? Like if I go back now, is it still gonna be like on the path somewhere, just sitting there? I don't know.
I think as you're sort of like contemplating this in the, I'm gonna do a half GM thing because I can. I think there are sort of visions of like, as you're looking throughout these underwater caverns, rocks that in certain lights look like your lucky rock. And then when you get closer, it's not your lucky rock, dude.
Yeah, the caverns are the worst place I could have ended up.
Big bummer. Huge bummer, dude. And then you're also gaining 2 tokens for momentum of will. So describe to us, like, because you're not going to be stuck in the underwater caverns forever. Next turn, you're going to splash out of there and do whatever it is that himbos do. For now, tell us how you're feeling as you're working your way to the exit.
I'm not feeling. I'm a bit bummed. You know, it's a bummer, but you know, could be worse. You know.
Hell yeah! It's just fun to watch Shane and Morgan go one after the other, and very very different ways of introducing their wonderful characters. Yeah, and again, Morgan's playing the Wyvern Bound, and the Wyvern they get to like separate and move together. So yeah, if you're separating from your board, drag another token on the screen to keep track of where your board's gonna go, or your Wyvern if you and you can still travel together if you want, but you do have that ability where you get to split up, and they have their own turns. So wonderful. Who would like to be next?
I can go.
Hell yeah. All right, give me that 3d4.
All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3, 1, 7. 7 also.
All right, so you're going to go straight down into the mists. And again, this is on page 16, and you're going to assign your 3 individual results to, and I can read these out since we got this again, I'll read it out. For location, it's a 4 table because we got 4-sided die. Number 1 is Labyrinth. 2 is Fog of Guilt. Think Silent Hill, but I just couldn't say Silent Hill. 3, Underwater Caverns, which we got to explore. And 4, Nostalgia. Visions, 1 is Tell the Table about something you have lost. 2, Tell the Table about something you miss, which we saw with Morgan. 3, Tell the Table about something you sacrificed and what for. And 4, Tell the table about something you realize. So you can just have an epiphany in the scene if you'd like.
Cool. I think I'll go to the Labyrinth.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, as you do this one, do the labyrinth, assign your next one, and then sort of describe what's happening in this scene as you fall off. What's a labyrinth in the rift look like?
And I think it just kind of looks like... Do you remember that screensaver we used to have on like really old computers that was like the bricks, and then it would turn, and then it would be more bricks, and then it would turn, and it would be more bricks? I think it looks like that, but not pixelated, obviously. It like...
It could be.
like or maybe it like fluctuates between pixelated and realistic, and that's something that's even more off-putting about the labyrinth. You see Keth, and they are tall and slim, and from a distance they just kind of look like a person made of clouds. Their skirt kind of billows and ruffles in a wind that no one can feel. They have like a vest that sort of isn't fully buttoned. Oh, okay. Sorry, my cat's in my lap. That isn't fully buttoned, but is loose enough to be kind of taken by the same wind. Their hair kind of is white enough that it looks like different strikes of lightning bound up on top of their head. And they're running through the labyrinth. And there was a map to the labyrinth, and they weren't alone once. But the last fall they were on, they handed the map off to someone that they cared about, and she had to go, and the map is lost, and she's lost, but it's worth it because she made it out probably. Yeah, like she made it out. Like that's the only thing to believe is that she made it out.
Breaking. Gorgeous. I love all of you. Who wants to go next?
I'm happy to go next.
Hell yeah.
You see, Onyx is a tall, vaguely human-shaped creature that seems to be made of a dark purple glass. But their hair consists of beams of light and flame that would remind one of solar flares. Their eyes burn bright in like suns, and there are flashes of bright solar light that cross their body all the time. As they fall, if you were to observe them from a distance, it would be as though watching a shooting star or a comet.
Ooh.
And they always fall head first.
Nice.
That's not what I wanted to do. I need to roll some dice.
Hell yeah. Roll me that 3d4.
4. Total. It's 2 1s and a 2.
Ooh, okay. So, this is gonna be fun. You're gonna so 4 total is, sorry, let me find that. Yeah, you're gonna go up and to the right, which actually, you're going to, so the solid hex, you're gonna bump into the solid hex, but I've got to find the exact text of this. Pardon me.
Is that not going to be towards the hazard?
Well, you're going up and to the right, so actually you're gonna teleport to the other side of the row, and you're gonna hit that solid hex. This is really interesting. I'm learning something about my game. You know what I'm going to do? This is more fun. Typically, bumping into the solid hex will inflict a stun condition, and I think still we'll do that. But then you fall straight down. But you're falling straight down, and there's no map there. So I think you're going to just teleport to the dual hex that's down here. if you go all the way down here, this like sword-shaped one, you're gonna appear
Sweet.
down there. So we're gonna do the stun condition, but then you're gonna assign your die on this hex.
Lewis speedrunning the game.
Lou actually clipped through my map.
Nothing like showing up to a duel while you're stunned.
What does stuns do to me?
You're gonna take
Is that
-1 to all your dice rolls next turn. I'm gonna say you can do that this turn if you want for the duel, or save it for your next turn.
no? I'm gonna do it this turn for
All right.
sure.
Cool. So on the dual hex, this is sort of one of those kind of boss hexes that I've added to the game. This is my intent. You don't have to take it, but my intent is to make this. I'll just read this. This is a narratively important foe. Who are you fighting and why? You're going to assign 1 die to represent your strategy before attacking based on a table here, and assign another one to determine the opponents. And so there's this table where there's retreat, advance, parry, and disengage, and each of them beats a different one. So essentially, you get to decide how that story goes in the duel. You can decide that you lose the duel, or you can decide that you win the duel. If there's no clear winner based on your rolls, then other things happen. But you rolled 2-1-1, right?
Yes.
All right. So how's this going to shake out? Is this going to have a clear winner, or is there going to be? Are you going to be in here for a little bit? Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. If that moving too fast.
No, you're all good. I'm just reading through my options quickly.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Please take your time.
My favorite thing so far is that Lex wrote all of the text like in this book, and Lex is also kind of like trying to put things in their own words, because they're like, well, I have to explain it to you, but you literally wrote the book, and you're like, I'm not gonna read it though. I love your realization that you're like, I can just read this, like the thing I wrote, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna read that.
I don't run games a lot these days, literally just design games, and so I'm like, oh wait, why wouldn't I just I did the work for that.
It's awesome. What a cool moment.
As I think the duel takes the form of a flashback to a time before long time ago, before Onyx was this being that they are now. And I don't even know if Onyx would realize that this flashback was him, but they're living in it. And the stakes aren't cognitively known to them, but they have a great sense of this is very important, that this needs to go a specific way. And at this point, I don't think there is a clear winner.
Okay.
I think both parties are just, they're doing that thing where they circle each other, and nothing's really happening. There's not really a clear winner yet. Right,
cool. So there's this flashback, and your character is watching themselves in the past, or are they watching?
They are themselves in the past, but
right.
It is such a magnitude of time ago that they have forgotten this version.
Very cool. Where is this sort of circling taking place? I want to see, what does the landscape sort of look like?
I like the classic hilltop under a tree sort of vibe. I'm thinking very much like an old timey like fencing duel. Probably some sort of romance related.
Yeah.
But all of the like specific details are long forgotten, but this feeling that this is something that they have to do, and this is something that they that is of great importance to who they become, is what's driving them forward.
That's beautiful. And yeah, once you said hilltop on a tree, I was like, this feels bittersweet already. Just that choice is very bittersweet because it's like normally a peaceful place. And then it did like sort of, so that was like a very well chosen detail. I really like that. Beautiful. Lost in bittersweet memory. We will go to our final diver in our first round. Allison, give us that 3d4.
Here we go. That's a 1, a 2,
A 3.
a 3. All right.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, I
Oh,
think
nice.
I rolled on top of an old die, so one of them is a 3, and I'm just gonna say it's that.
Yeah, sure. That works. So that is 6 total, right? So you're also heading into the hazard space. The hazard is on page 15, and you're going to be assigning your 3 results, so the 1, the 2, and the 3, to whichever of your choice under environmental hazard, which has a table. Number 1 is extreme rift weather, which is what Shane chose. 2, narrow rock tunnels. 3, existential miasma. 4, something you desire to the point of heartache. And then personal hazard, you'll just take one of these conditions and sort of use that as a prompt to just tell us why your character's feeling that way.
Okay. I think I'll choose the something you desire to the point of heartache.
Did you roll a 4?
Okay, I roll a 4 because.
Well, did you roll a 4?
Oh, shoot.
So for that one, you'll use your individual roll. So you rolled a 1, a 2, and a 3, right?
Okay, yes. Okay.
So
Then
you'll assign those results.
Closest thing is existential miasma.
Yes, you can go bittersweet with it. We're going to do the rules generously. So if you want to talk about some heartache in the existential miasma, I think that's fair.
Perfect. And then, do I choose the personal hazard as a result of this, like at the onset?
You can choose, I think, whenever you want, as long as by the end of your turn you get there.
Okay.
It can be a result. It can be a precursor to why you're jumping in the first place. It could be, whatever it is. And then the momentum of will, of course, is how many tokens you receive.
Okay. I think, so you see approaching the edge, the last kind of moment of solid ground underneath her feet is this diver that is made, kind of steampunky in appearance, like made of bits of metal, but as you look closer at the metal, it kind of flickers like a computer glitch, but it seems solid, but there's something that's not entirely metallic about it. There's a bit of like coating or light or some kind of trick happening here. But there's just like almost like plates of armor all up and down the arms, kind of covering her hands and coming to points on the fingers, and like there's lots of gears and things turning, like moving at every joint, every kind of micro joint where the fingers bend and kind of creak. And there, you look closer and there's almost like too many bends in the fingers, like they're like a little too long, and so are the elbows. Everything's just a little bit like oversized and strange. And there's a jerkiness to the movements, and you kind of see this person turn and almost look two-dimensional, but then the flickering on their armor happens again, and they kind of puff out into a 3D space. But it's almost like seeing an animated thing in real life. And
Ooh.
This person just dives off of the edge, and as the wind kind of hits her clothing, everything begins to whistle like a steamboat whistle, just kind of flying through all of this plating all over her. And her head has a helmet. It's kind of hard to see her face. It's obscured. And this is clockwork, and she has a bunch of little ticking pieces that like move in front of the eyes. And there's a little hole in the visor for you can see the eyes themselves, and they're like a deep golden color, rich, almost like the color of an old gold gear on a clock. And she is diving forth, and those eyes that are so bright and golden are filling with tears, and the tears are just like anime style, like falling back as she's diving forward into the air. And I think I'll give her the condition heartbroken, as she's just come from probably the last time she'll ever see this fellow diver that she had kind of given her heart to and had it handed back to her. And she feels it, a literal token that was given back to her by this person, kind of rattling around inside one of the pockets on the metal suit.
Damn. I don't want to head to Morgan's turn now. Well, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's so good. Now, everyone's gone once, right? We have our group of divers falling through the rift at different times, but I think perhaps whatever connection has brought you all together, whatever allows a window through the time, and you kind of see sort of holograms of each other off in the distance. I'll leave it up to you if you've recognized each other or not. But if you definitely see some of these friends in the distance, and with us now having a lot of us having generated some tokens, I want to go over the token mechanic. Tokens are just abstracted resources that allow you to do different things. So there's universal token actions. So you can always take a moment to reach out, or not you can always, but you can spend a token to reach out with your heart. And again, this doesn't really mean you need a token to do this, but this sort of spending imparts narrative authority to focus the table on that scene, saying like, hey, like, I'm going to make this is a significant thing and I'm spending resources on it. I have alleviate someone's loneliness for a moment, which I'm going to fold back into that first bullet in newer versions. It's still about the same thing. And then you can also spend a token to adjust the direction of your hex roll. So you can spend multiple tokens to move that number of sides along the navigation hex. So if you get a 6 again, you don't want to go that way, you could spend a token to go, up left one direction or right one direction. You could spend 2 to go, so you can actually spend more tokens to go all the way around. And if you would prefer, you can use the tokens to basically go wherever you want on the map. You can also re-roll a die in a boss or skirmish hex, which is sort of like, nobody's hit one yet because we're still in the beginning, but is sort of like the abstracted combat hexes. So we'll have some fight scenes coming up, and if you need to, you can spend a resource to, summon the resolve to win the fight, or is essentially how this token is working. Additionally, everyone in the group has their own playbooks. So your playbooks will also have moves that you can spend tokens to use. And I think we'll get to those when you use them. And perhaps we won't get to see them all, but that's all the more reason for all y'all to go check out the game. It's free. Go download it. It's pay what you want, but if you're here watching us play, you can put $0 in, and you've paid the toll by coming to watch our very cool stream and supporting a wonderful cause at the Marshall P. Johnson Institute. So we don't have to go in the same order as last time, but if you want to, for just like ease of use, y'all are more than welcome to do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we can do the same order. And I remember you told us you're not our mom, so
Yeah.
come on, guys, we're waiting for mom to tell us what to do.
Sometimes, honey, you take initiative and ask.
Yeah, let's do same order if you guys are cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
that'd be me then.
Uh huh.
So I'm gonna use one of my tokens
Ooh.
Since I'm in the same space as Clockwork, I think Roxy is going to like rock up next to Clockwork, like maybe explode kind of through like a fractal meteor, and just kind of draw up next to her and say, they ain't worth it, hon. And I'm going to use my token to let them vent to me.
Aw. Now, of course, Allison, you don't have to, I'm not going to make you do anything, but this is sort of an opportunity that your character has. And if your character, turns down the opportunity, that's fine. But I would love to hear some insight as to why they would turn it down, stuff like that.
Yeah. Clockwork looks like this was the moment she was waiting for and had been almost as soon as she lands. What's the terrain around us like, by the way, Roxy?
So,
Or Mom, whoever.
No, thank you.
Mommy,
Thank you.
where are we? So I'm kind of picturing kind of like a kaleidoscopic kind of fractal geometry, kind of almost like the old like Sonic the Hedgehog levels, but like abstracted out
Yes.
into this like surreal kind of painting. And we're kind of zipping and looping through that.
Awesome. Yeah, Clockwork lands and does the blade pose, punches the ground and like kind of two legs bent and rights herself, and just had been kind of like awkwardly standing there, like tears dripping down the mask, and stares at you almost expectantly. So as soon as you offer this space to vent, she starts talking mid-sentence because she had been like saying it in her own mind this entire time, is just like waiting for the opportunity. So as soon as she has it, she's like, and then of course they're like, just take it back. We don't even need it anymore. You're just gonna lose it on a dive. And I'm not gonna lose it on a dive because it's right here in my pocket. And this pocket has 3 locks on it. And I'm not gonna lose it. And what do they know? What do they know about anything? Ugh. I'm never diving with them again. I'm never seeing them again. I really want to see them again. Oh, Roxy.
I think I maybe got like a third of that. You're having trouble with your diving partner?
Yeah, well, we were more than diving partners, but now we're nothing. Absolutely nothing. And they gave me back the token that I gave to them to symbolize our undying affection. She'll like open up the metal pocket and like click 3 locks out of place and take out probably like a little pocket watch, but it kind of like springs open like a flower blooming.
Aww.
And you see like the time is going all backwards on it and the numbers are spinning around. And she'll close it again and like carefully put it back in there, making sure she doesn't drop it through any of the pixels all around. And locks it back up.
Oh, that's a beautiful little token. Why
That's
don't
what
you
I thought.
hang on to it yourself? I think I don't know, divers like us, I think we're meant to be alone. And she's gonna like, I think she's got like a pair of flight goggles on, and she kind of like puts them down and says, like, speaking of which, and just like falls backwards off of the kind of grassy knoll that they're on.
Oh, yeah.
Clockwork is still mid-sentence on the next rant. Doesn't even notice that you've left. Just talking to the air.
I'm gonna do my roll,
Yes.
and that's 3, 5, 6.
Cool. So 6 total.
Yeah.
Ooh, Kirby's. Sorry, I was looking at the stream. Someone subbed. Thank you so much for all the subs and stuff in the chat benefiting Marsha P. Johnson Institute. If you want to donate, you can sub and also donate
Yep.
/give bits. You can also donate directly on their page, which will be linked, right? It's linked in the chat, right? Stream Elements did it. But yeah, so where do you end up? Where does a 6 get you?
6, I think that's the same again, right? So that would get me onto this question mark over here.
Always
This?
a good sign.
Down right?
Yes. So the question mark is I call it in my head, I call it the hex change, because this is sort of one of those particular vortices of all the different forces in the rift that have combined to make it what it is. Solar flares, quantum storms, places where reality melts, vortices of true magic, nodes of ultra reality where you can access pure power and choose your own destiny. For each 4 you rolled, you can choose one of these things. Did you roll any 4s?
I did not.
All right. So I think I'm going to change that because that's not fun. I think you can choose one of your results to assign to this table. So this table has a lot of really game altering stuff on it. So I'll read these out. Number 1, swap out one of your playbook abilities for another from a different playbook. Tell the table where this new power is coming from. 2, switch an ability you can always do with one that costs a token. So you can kind of re-rig your playbook. 3, your character dies, make a new character. You can just do it if you want. 4, choose a new playbook entirely for your character.
Character dies, Lex?
If you roll a 3, you don't have to use it.
You know if there's an option to die in a game, I will always take it. Why would you do this to me?
Did you roll a 3 on one of your die?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you can do it. Do it.
That would be the ultimate outro for Roxy. Clockwork's just complaining. And she's just like, bye.
Your rant was so never mind. That's bad taste to say.
Can I play with this a little bit?
Yes.
Instead of it being a totally new character, I think this is sometimes Roxy dives into the quantum storms and the solar flares, because there's a phenomenon that happens there where you're literally ripped apart and you're put back together. And I think she literally goes there to just be torn apart and put back together, and every time she does it, she comes back a little different. And she's Roxy, but a little different, but she's not really the same Roxy. There's the same atoms in there, but they're reconfigured in a different way. So I think she's torn apart, and when she's put back together, she's been fused and reformed. And her brown suede jacket has given her a hard leathery skin that's almost inhuman, and her hair has turned into the fluff on the collar. The white fluff from the collar has turned into this wild fluffy hair. And she continues to fall, and she's just screaming the whole time,
fully peeked out immediately.
Yeah.
Wonderful. There was something in there where you said it was kind of that's such a cool thing, because Roxy chooses to be herself every time. Just a little different. She's not changing who she is. She's not changing out the playbook or dying. It's how powerful to choose yourself every time. That's so cool. Wonderful. Is there anything else for your turn? I think we'll do that. I'll make a note to change Hex Change so that you can, I don't know why I wrote this way, to be honest with you. Next, we have Morgan.
That's Ironwind.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey! Man, it's been a while.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing here in the underground caverns?
Oh, well, for me, it looks a bit like a brick, like a brick labyrinth, really.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, didn't you lose a rock?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Well, you've got that look about you of losing something, and the rock's your favorite thing, so I kind of made an intuitive leap.
Wow, I didn't know we were that close that you would notice that I lost my rock, but man, I was
I don't
wrong.
know. I tend to watch people more than interact with them, so it's a bit of a not in a creepy way at all. I watch people, but not in a weird way. Did I make things bad?
No, listen, I like being watched when I surf.
You're very good at it.
That's what it's for, yeah.
That thing you do where you put all your toes at the end and you just stand there.
Signature move.
Incredible. Well, I've got something for you, and I'm gonna turn and bash my feet into one of the brick walls so that it cracks off a piece of brick, and then my shadow kind of extends out bigger than it should be, and it looks like a giant is kind of overtaking Keth, and through like all the pixels and all the everything, an arm extends to you, and there's just this little piece of brick.
Oh,
I know it's not the same, but I hope that it does something for you.
You know what? It's not the same. It's better. Woo!
It's so kind.
But yeah, you're. I wanna say thank you.
Sure,
And-
of course.
I'm looking at my playbook here. So I can do a thing where I can ask my wyvern to say that which cannot be said with words. I think Kingfisher has trouble really kind of like understanding his emotions and expressing them with words. So the wyvern kind of just does that for him. So I'm just like, come on, buddy. And the wyvern kind of like, I think telepathically emanates like a kind of emotion, like right into your chest. And it's just like, thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that felt so nice. Oh, thank you for giving me that feeling.
And I spend a token for that.
Hell yeah. You know what I imagine? Just with like the, because it's kind of mind fucky with the space and stuff. But I do imagine, how like you have your like people dieting side by side, and so they're just sort of falling parallel. And because it's our made up fantasy world, you can hear each other. But then as the camera sort of like is following you down, it kind of catches you all like in the middle, static, and then flips upside down until it looks like you're like just standing like in front of each other, talking to each other, having this conversation. Meanwhile, like what's truly happening is you're falling through the sky, but like you're able to have these combos. Although when Allison described like hitting the ground and stuff like that, fully cool with that. But for this conversation, I'm like, y'all are just racing, and it's like, but also like I imagine like a photo, like two photos that are exposed on top of each other of like your brick and your underwater cavern, and so it's sort of like this like Venn diagram space where you're talking to each other and like the sky is zooming past in the background and y'all are having a wonderful conversation.
Yeah, I think my wyvern like clocks like how like mindfucky it is to like have these two dimensions overlap, but I don't even question it. I'm like, where did that brick come from?
Doesn't matter.
And I'm like, now me and my wyvern have a wave to catch.
Be safe.
So I think I roll separately for that.
You can. Yep. You don't have to, but you can. This is how I like to play solo Hexfall, is take the wyvern bound and just you have like two characters essentially to go hit stuff up.
So that's a 4 and 2 3s.
Ooh, so that's a 10.
That's a 10.
So yeah, you're gonna head. You are the wyvern. Okay. You're gonna head down to where Roxy is.
Yeah.
And you're gonna enter the Hexchange.
Exchange. And then should I just roll for my wyvern now or?
Yeah. Whichever you would like. I think since you're rolling now, we'll just have them both and then resolve them.
It's a 1, 2, and a 3.
Gotcha. So 6 again, and that's going to be the other direction, which will pop them out on the other side. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. They go this way. So the wyvern enters the dual space, and so
So when we spend tokens, do you spend it before you dive, or can you spend it after you dive?
you can spend them whenever you want, as long as you have the tokens.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spend 1 to switch places.
Ooh. So that's one of the Wyvern-bound playbook abilities, is you can switch places with your Wyvern, so you can get some cool, board movement going. Oh, hell yeah. So actually, you're going to be in the dual space, and the Wyvern's going to go through the Hexchange. Oh, that's so cool. I think let's do the Wyvern first, because the way this interacts with the rules is a place that the text doesn't address. So, because the Wyvern doesn't have a playbook, you have the playbook. So I want you roll the 1, 2, and a 3 for the Wyvern. So if you want to use any of the 1, 2, or 3 as a prompt, but you also honestly just do whatever you want, Morgan, is really what I am saying right now.
I think is there kind of like a help action I can do where like the Wyvern can be there to help Roxy?
Yes. So you can there should be a thing where you can you could give another diver a token through Roxy if you want, if you have one available.
I don't have one right now, but
and then you can always help another diver. So
okay.
you can it says describe how and adjust one of their rolls by 1. So we'll make that go for the next turn. So then their next roll, Shane, you can adjust one of the dice by 1. But yeah, describe what's Roxy doing, or not what's Roxy doing, what's the Wyvern doing to help out here.
I think the Wyvern sees Roxy, remembers kind of like one of our rad friends, and mechanically that change in 1, I think, is the Wyvern's kind of help to change Roxy's direction in which way they're falling.
Nice. Hell yeah.
And then Roxy goes, "Hey, where's the ding dong?" Yeah, isn't it just?
I love Roxy so much. Hell yeah. Is there anything else?
I think that's it for the Wyvern.
Cool. So now your turn. For the duel.
Okay. So I just kind of choose someone who is there, right?
You can choose anyone from your past, any sort of like, this one's the backstory generator. So if you have some sort of cool rival / love interest / both that you want to reveal to us here, you may absolutely do so.
I got this. Rival / love interest, definitely.
Definitely.
Sharkman is there, and it's a shark with a humanoid body.
Sexy.
And he's a big surf competitor where we used to do like these competition dives, and he just like taunts me. He wins a lot, and I'm so frustrated at this really mean, sexy Sharkman.
Really mean sexy Sharkman is a band name, and I'm gonna take it.
So good.
Beautiful. So describe. So for this one, I think describe one of your competitions using the prompt here for when you assigning your strategy. You know, there's this like very overt fencing language here, but perhaps it would make sense to describe a particularly tense surf competition and use these results as sort of the prompt for the story.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll use one of my 3s for a parry. Just because I think the competitiveness and knowing that he wins a lot just has me on the defensive automatically.
Yes.
So I'm readying like a good comeback.
And which result of that roll are you giving to him on this table?
And then Well, the only other so I have a 1 and a 1 and a 2.
So you could give him a
A 2?
a 2, because that beats advance.
Yeah. So I
So
think
maybe.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think maybe like he sees me and he's coming at me like, we meet again. What? You're gonna lose again? Like he's just gonna taunt me. And I go, not this time. I've got a lucky brick.
Hell yeah! There's this sort of like, oh, I love that. You're sort of reminiscing, and like the gift your friend just gave you, kind of is folded back into the memory of this competition and emboldening you for, I think one of he wins a lot, but he doesn't win all the time, and I think this is one of those very sweet victories. And Keth's little token rings out through time, and yeah, what a beautiful moment of friendship.
For a second, it sounded like you were going to brick a shark man.
I'm too nice.
These bricks were made for
Sharkin.
Sharkin. Excellent. I think what we'll do is everybody will have their next turn. We'll finish out the round and then take a bio break, and then we'll return for the second half. Who was next? Was it Allegra?
'Twas I.
Hell yeah.
So I sort of cheated and used one of my abilities on Kingfisher's turn, which was comfort someone in the moment, no matter how big their problem is. So I've used that a little out of order. My bad.
No, you did it at the right time. You can do it whenever you want.
Okay. So I think just as I'm now that my friend has disappeared, I'm just trying to like move in and out of the labyrinth with as much efficiency as possible. So it's like feet down, pushing off the brick, feet down, pushing off the brick. And then I come out of it and go what direction? I rolled those into the others. I don't know which ones I picked. Hold on, I have to separate things better. You all go over there. All right. 3, 3, 4, so 10.
Okay, cool. So I think that sends you into the hex change as well.
Ooh. The hex change.
As a reminder, you can always use your token. You can spend a token per side to move a different way. So, for example, if you wanted to go straight down to the library, you could spend 1 token to adjust that roll that way. You could spend 2 to hit the duel instead. You can basically go all around and spend that number of tokens if you don't want the hex change.
I think I actually
do
want to go to the library, so I'll use another token and go to the library.
Hell yeah! So we're going to check out the library hex. I'll read this out as Allegra decides which ones they want to assign. Portals to all the knowledge of all universes scattered throughout the rift. Assign each of your 3 roles to one of the following. Location. Describe the library based on the role you choose. Pocket Dimension Library, Ancient Diver Library, Quantum AI Library in quotes, or Magic Library. And then 1 book is the next table. It calls to you more than any other. This role represents its subject matter. Share your findings. So there'll be the origins of the rift, the past, the current, and the future, and then knowledge passed on. The 3rd die generates that number of tokens the next diver receives upon entering. So you can sort of leave your knowledge behind for someone else to benefit from.
Very cool. I think as the rift opens up past the last brick hole, I tuck into a ball, almost like a meteor, and flip myself forward and open my eyes, and it is like the sorcerer's sanctum almost, just like tomes and like heavy curtains and astrolabes and like all kinds of just
Sextants.
yeah, like classically magical shit is just everywhere, and it's like jewel toned and beautiful.
Oh, yes.
And there's like cozy little chairs that are just like floating in midair as and like I feel like the gravity changes a little bit, so it's still falling, but it's like a gentler fall, slow enough to like pick up a book and read it if you need to. And I pick up a book that is not finished yet. It is in the process of being written as things change within the rift. And there's no quill, there's no ink pot. The words are just appearing on the pages as the pages turn in my hands.
Oh, so cool.
And I'm looking down at it, and I'm flipping back and flipping forward and seeing what's happening, and flipping back and flipping forward and seeing what's happening. I wish I could read. That would make things a lot easier. Damn. And then as I go, I just kind of pull all the books that are unfinished off the shelves and leave all 3 of them floating in the room for the next person to find.
Nice. Hell yeah. And how does Keth make their way out of this library? I know we don't have to like decide what's the next thing is now, because we'll get to that on the next turn, but I just kind of want to see, like, do they just simply walk out and fall out? Like, where's their exit?
I don't think there's a door to this room. I think it's just like a dome or almost a globe.
Mm-hmm.
And looking around, there's really no door. And they're kind of searching. Can I use another one of my little moves?
Please. Everybody should be using their little moves all the time.
Okay. I don't mean little moves in a mean way.
No. It's very cute. I liked it. It's very cute.
I'm looking through all of these books and all of these things that I can't understand, but I know that it's important, and I know that it's about this world, and like there's kind of like an innate sense of knowledge about it, an innate sense of like this is where everything goes, and like there's extra magic in the air even, and like little motes of light, and I just kind of sit down in the middle of it and look around, and Keth feels kind of small, which is rare for them because they're so like long and lanky. Mm-hmm. They, as much as you can sit as you're falling, I think they just cross their legs and look around. There's so much. I hope everyone gets to see this once in their life. It's important. Maybe someone smarter than me will figure out how to use it for good. And I'd like to humble myself before something small.
Oh yeah. Gain that token. The Giantborn can humble themselves before a small thing and get a token. I love that moment. And yeah, I'm imagining the sort of like the surroundings of the library start to sort of like become less and less opaque, sort of fade out as the sky is revealed again and your seated position is just dropping through the heavens. Then Lou, right?
Yes. I pre-rolled my dice so that I would be prepared, and then I got distracted.
And forgot.
No, I didn't forget. I'm just not prepared. I rolled a 9. I'm still dueling, I believe.
Right.
What happens next is so 2 4s, so 2 advances. I think we both dab forward at the same time, and skewer each other in this memory. And Onyx watches as my opponent falls dead before me. Before looking up at the sun above us, and there is around them, and seemingly infinite number of whispers calling them names like Sun Thief and Star Eater, and Onyx does not remember what they have done to have these names, but there is a sense of something, that they have done something unforgivable and at some point in their life, leading them to this point. From this point, leading them to where they are now, and that is the turning point.
Ooh, very cool. So we went over the other mechanics of the dual hex, but the final mechanic is once there is a definitive winner, based on the die rolls that you chose for the dual aspect. The third die then determines the lasting impact of this scene. So 1 is, that's your new crush, sorry bud. 2 is lifelong rival. 3 is a step back, and 4 is a turning point. So very cool use of the 4 and beautiful narration. Thank you, Lou. And then you can move. You said you got a 9. I think I would allow you to use that 9 as as your way out if you would like. You don't have to. You can just reroll next turn. But you do still have that if you would like to use that to move this turn.
May have math wrong there, but never mind. Moving on. 9. Where will that put me?
So then a 9 will take you down and to the left, which from here will take you up to this void space up like over here. So you don't have to, but because you would exit down and to the left, right?
Yeah, and then it would.
Yeah.
Okay. I can leave as a
Horizon clad, yes.
Thingy-majiggy. I can treat.
9s and 10s is
10s,
11.
11s. Where would an 11?
An 11 would take you down
Also to avoid
this way.
space.
Yeah, also to avoid space.
I'll go to the upper one.
Cool.
We'll go up here.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, the horizon clad, brightly shining, enters the void, and we'll do that one next turn, since we did the dual one this turn, and we'll move on to Allison.
Yeah, Clockwork is still standing on this like brief piece of pixel earth that is beginning to, I mean, I feel like it's just like a little bit right underneath her foot, and it's like a Bugs Bunny as soon as she looks down. There's nothing. And she's still in mid-sentence to Roxy, like, and I just can't believe that, and she looks and there's nothing, and she begins the dive again, almost unexpectedly, and she frantically like clasps at that pocket that she had sealed up but had quite finished locking it 3 times, as the velocity kind of takes all of the bits and whistles and metal pieces flapping up, like kind of like a exoskeleton on a bug, like the plates are just all like flying upwards, and she hurriedly tries to keep it closed because she doesn't want to prove her ex right that she's going to lose this trinket that she said that would be lost on the dive. And I think as she begins to fall, she's going to use one of her moves to her shape begins to shift. She's a geomaturge, so she's kind of all angles and spaces and things are hers to play with, and so those long fingers and joints begin to just kind of like seamlessly move outwards into spaces that they shouldn't be. So like where an arm might take up like the length of a line, and like a leg might make the shape of a triangle, like those shapes begin to form. And she kind of becomes a Pink Floyd laser light show. So like there's like trails of light that appear in the shape that's forming with her limbs. And she's gonna phase down below, and I will use her move to, let's see, to pull an adjacent diver into my hex. So I think some of her plates, as she's falling, get maybe caught up in, is it Kingfisher below me?
Yes, I think so.
Kingfisher, you're gonna kind of see this laser light show come at you with like a bunch of triangles and circles and things just flying at you, and begin to encircle you.
That's gnarly.
And,
I am in trance.
We're falling, but you're falling upwards, I guess, as she's falling downwards.
Yeah, you're pulling them into your space. So, yeah.
But I can roll to see where we go.
Ooh, yeah. So like Morgan will stay there, and then you now roll where you want to go, or you can do it afterwards if you want to see if you'll end up somewhere else to pull Morgan into.
Okay, cool. That's a 4. Oh, I hit it. So now it's a 4, it's a 3, and a 4.
Ooh, 11.
11.
So 11 will take you up and to the left, in which case you actually would go to the starting space.
Don't pass go. Yeah, that sounds right for Clockwork. I think she's confused and like maybe instinctually is trying to go back up there and have the last word in the argument, and just begins to fall like kind of upwards, gravityless. And because she is this geometric person, like part of her, like I picture her kind of like at an angle. So like part of her's going this way and the torso and the legs are going that way. And she's just kind of like Mr. Fantastic stretching. And the bottom legs flip you up into the space that she was in, Kingfisher.
So I go up into the hazard space.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, and then you're gonna go there. And I don't remember if I added this to the doc or not, but I definitely had a version where the start space actually turns into a void space after people leave it. So we'll go to the void hex, which is on page 17. Empty sky, a moment of reflection. Take your highest roll only and reference it on this table. So you'll take your 4. This table goes as follows. Tell the table about a time you absolutely failed. 2, tell the table about a time you didn't get what you want. 3, tell the table about a time you got what you wanted, but then something complicated the situation. And 4, tell the table about a time you got everything you wanted.
I'll do the 4. Tell the table about a time you got everything you wanted. As Clockwork's floating in this void, she feels a tug on her bottom torso, which is Kingfisher's body being thrown upwards, unbeknownst to her. But she remembers another moment where she felt that kind of gravity because she's such a like ethereal, spaceless type person that like shapes and things don't matter. Being weighed down doesn't matter. But she remembers a time when she wasn't diving. She was in the city and she was standing on the edge with her fellow diver, looking down into the void below. And she was just conscious of her feet on the ground, like 2 feet, the size that they're quote unquote supposed to be. And she was 3D and not 2-dimensional, not phasing in and out. And she just felt so grounded. And in that moment, she reached and grabbed her partner's hand, and it felt so present. And everything just felt like there was no falling. And for a moment, just a moment, she thought, I don't need to dive anymore. And that was the moment that she had everything she wanted, and the two of them jumped into the void together.
Oh. And that's where we're going to take our break. Thank you all so much for joining us for part 1. We're going to take a small break. Encourage you all to also get some water and, do take care of various biological processes. Don't forget, you can donate to the Marsha P. Johnson Institute. That's the charity we're benefiting tonight by playing Hexfall. You can go directly to that website based on a link. There's links in the chat, or you can sub to this channel and Allison will pass the money on as well. I'll pass it back to Allison.
Thank you, Lex. Thank you so much for running this game. I can't wait for back after the half. Thank you, players. Thank you, chat. Let's keep falling, and thanks for hanging out with us tonight to play Hexfall with the creator Lex. We'll see you all soon. Don't go anywhere unless you need a bio break, and please take care of yourself. See y'all soon. Hi, everyone. We're back. This is First Fridays. Thank you for hanging out with us. I'm Allison, or Insight Checked. We do this every first Friday of the month, and you might be thinking, wait, it's not the first Friday. Don't think about it too much.
It's the first available Friday.
Yes. Yes. Last week was wild. And this week is getting wilder as we dive through a rift that tears through time, space, quantum mechanics, and all laws of physics. I'm loving this game, and we're so lucky to be playing it with the creator, Lex, who's here as our guest GM. I'll be dropping links in chat. If you choose to sub during this stream, all subs go towards a charity of Lex's choice, which is the Marsha P. Oh gosh, I'm going to mess it up. The Marsha P. Johnson Institute, defending the rights of Black, transgender, and gender nonconforming people. And you can also go directly to their website to donate there. We are excited to jump right back into our game, literally, I guess, because we're divers. And take it away, Lex. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. So we had a very heartrending moment with Allison's character, and we got to linger on that in the break. And now we're going to come back around to Roxy. The dive that you're on, you're seeing your friends sort of off in the distance, fighting their own demons and memories, and sometimes just like lending a helping hand. I would say this is probably how most dives go. Everybody, as much as you intend to stick together on anything, even if that wasn't your intention, even if when you do, it doesn't usually go to plan anyway, because the rift will take you to places that you could never predict. But yeah, what's Roxy? How's Roxy feeling, and what's she up to next?
I think Roxy is like seeing the images of all the other divers flickering around the void, and seeing everyone so dispersed. It reminds her of a dive that went really bad, and it was very similar to this one, with people being left behind and people going down very low and flitting all over. And she has there's kind of a weight on her chest and a growing sense of anxiety that she can't really rationalize or explain, but she needs to do something to alleviate that. So as she's falling, I think she reaches out and she just sticks her hand right into a quantum storm and is dragging her hand through it. And when she pulls it out, she forms it into, I think at first it's just a spear, and it's 4 times bigger than Roxy. There's just this little old lady falling through space, and she's got this spear, and she turns on her back so that she's looking up, and she can see Clockwork back at the start of the fall, and she just rows it up through the void towards Clockwork. And I think it comes towards Clockwork like a spear, just this piercing point of light, just rocketing towards them. But just as it comes to them, it instead of hitting them, it just arrives next to them and goes whoop, and then reaches the crest of its throw. And as it's coming back down, the spear kind of falls into its natural form, which is a giant pocket watch with a chain. And it's heavy. It's like an anchor, and it's meant to pull Clockwork down. Mm-hmm. And that's a token for Clockwork.
Awesome.
Oh.
And then I'm gonna fall.
Beautiful. God.
3, 4. That's 7. 2. That's 9. So I am going down into the left. I'm going into the void.
This will take you actually the other way. So down and to the left, you would go to the hazard above.
Okay. Yep. Back here.
Yes, and you can always, if you have the tokens, you can spend them to adjust your trajectory. But yeah, you're going to end up back in the hazard.
I have 1 token left. I might spend it. Can I just go straight down?
Sure. Yeah, so you would adjust your roll by 1, so you would go straight down into the skirmish.
Okay. Yeah, because this looks fun.
I'll read this out. Minor enemies and monsters. Choose 2 of your dice and add them together. Subtract the last roll from this sum. If the result is positive, gain that many tokens. If the result is negative, take that many injuries. Narrate the fight based on the outcome.
Okay. So I'm going to add the 3 and the 7 together. That's a 7. And then I'm going to minus 2. So that's 5. So do I get 5 tokens?
You absolutely do.
Token City, baby!
This is fun fact. This is how I said I want combat in my game, but I don't want to make monster stat blocks. This is how I did it. Solve it. You want to solve it? Abstract it. Just abstract it.
And I think Roxy's in heaven right now. She's like bouncing off of like monsters and like tearing them apart and then throwing the pieces at each other and zipping around and bouncing off each other. And she's just in absolute heaven. You can probably hear like some wild screaming and laughter through the rift.
I'm imagining, in a movie and someone's just going buck wild and they have the slow motion with the classical music playing over it and just this like just a carnival of violence while this very peaceful, like, beautiful classical music plays. That's what I'm imagining in my head. But yeah, and then the screams ringing out throughout the rift. Oh, so
They
cool.
spent the money on this one. They got in Weta. They got in Lights and Magic.
They got the Kingsman people.
They got some Kingsmen, whoever those guys are. They got them in.
The Kingsman. Gorgeous. Love it. Next up is Morgan.
All right, I think I'm trying to like get reorientated from being thrown back upwards.
Yeah.
So man, I go wherever the wind, the wave, or other people take me. So, do we do the hazard hex or do I just roll regular?
Just roll again, and I'm going to say you can, since the rule of the text says interpret the rules generously, I think that means you can roll and see, and like whichever hex you'd rather do, I think is fine.
So I got a 2, 4, and a 1 for me.
7. So that would be straight down, I believe.
Okay.
Which would take you into the dual space once again.
Yeah.
I think I want to hear more about this. This is you don't have to, but what I would like is I want to hear more about this very fun rivalry.
Yeah, I think just I see Sharkman again, and oh god damn it.
So hot. So rough around the edges.
The last competition dive that we did, there was just some foul play. I think he tripped me up.
Damn.
Yeah, it was not good. And so I'm just like, stupid, sexy Sharkman. So I guess we play out a duel again, huh?
Yep.
All right.
Is everyone else picturing someone who looks like and has the personality of the Street Sharks from the 90s cartoon?
Yes.
Why didn't I think of that? I was thinking of the Suicide Squad one, which I didn't see.
I'm kind of thinking of that, yeah.
But I also made a Street Sharks game, and I didn't think about Street Sharks. This is my ultimate failure as a designer right now. You're seeing it on screen.
Lex, no.
How the whoever have fallen,
It's not your fault that there's so many sexy street sharks to think about.
right? Get in line.
So, I have a 1, a 2, a 4, and a 1. So I think, let's see.
So what you can do here, the way I'm sort of like, if there's no clear winner means like you get to kind of choose that. So you could like arrange the results here so that maybe none of the actions interact,
Yeah.
and then you would come back to this, you would stay on this space next turn, and continue to try to sort of break out of it. And so for people who want to min-max, you would want to be rolling until you have 2 results where yours would beat the other person's, and then you get out. If you want sort of like oh, go ahead.
I think I do have a roll that beats him.
Ooh, so yeah.
Because advance beats retreat. So I think we're in a little fight, except I'm just kind of getting really heated in the moment, arguing with this shark man. And he's kind of on the back foot, and I give him a little kiss.
Oh. The shark man blusheth.
He did not expect that.
No one saw that coming.
Yeah, it's a hate kiss.
This is a hate kiss. Oh my gosh, how does the shark man react?
Stunned.
Stunned. Shark man takes the stunned condition, even though he doesn't have a character sheet.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know
Brutal.
why, but I pictured the boop noise.
Boop. So your third result can determine the lasting impact of this encounter.
So a turning point. Would that be a turning point in our relationship?
I will leave it to you to interpret. This is your prompt, and you can choose what you want to do with it.
I think I've turned an enemy into a future ally. And possibly boyfriend.
And possibly. I definitely want to, I gotta see that. If y'all want to write that fanfic, because I think the himbo surfer with a hot shark boyfriend, that's a winner, right?
I'd read it.
I would read it. I would read it so hard. Excellent. So, I think that's your turn, right? You don't have any abilities you want to use or anything?
I think I'm just gonna move my wyvern.
Ooh, oh yeah, your wyvern gets to go. Sorry.
Yeah, so the wyvern rolled a 3, 4, and a 1. That's
okay, so 8.
8.
That's gonna be straight down.
I think the wyvern just really likes Roxy.
Yeah, I think they just have a bond. And that is
alone.
I'm going to help you. It's emanating emotion. You need hope and healing.
By the way, Shane, did you spend a token to move in that direction last turn?
Yes.
But I think the wyvern actually had given you one, right? So actually you could keep the token. Give yourself that token. Because Morgan had already set up the wyvern for you to help you. I remember that just now.
Giving you a little slingshot in a different direction.
The wyvern comes upon a skirmish hex. So you'll take 2 to add together to make your roll, essentially, and then the third one represents the enemy's roll, and then you'll subtract that to see what happens. Yes.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to take the 3 and the 4 and minus the 1.
Gotcha. So you get 6 tokens. And describe for us how this fight goes. How is the wyvern? What's this combat look like?
I think the wyvern is looking at Roxy, pulling these guys apart, and just joins in the fray, just like dancing in the blood.
Feeding frenzy. There's a Street Sharks reference. Excellent. Jawsome. Fantastic. Hell yeah. Never mind. In high school we had a weird little like club alt around VHS of Street Sharks that we got in the donations to our Thanksgiving food drive for some reason, and so we passed it around this little group, and we were like weirdly devoted to it. Anyway,
Was it just like one episode?
People don't need to eat. You just need Street Sharks.
Yeah, it was
Street Sharks.
somewhere between 3 to 5 episodes
Okay,
on
okay.
this VHS.
Kind of awkward
Or an
mid-season.
appetizer.
It was, I can't remember. I think I kept it. That's how much it meant to me. I never passed it on. And I just basically just stole this VHS anyway. What's the statute of limitations? This was like at least 10 years ago. This was in 2009, probably 2008, somewhere
It's a
around.
very late time to be watching Street Sharks.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it was. Oh yeah, I forgot that detail. This was in 2008, where people were not using VHSs. We just happened upon it. Just showed up in the food drive. Anyway,
What now?
you want to know how I've become so powerful? It's that VHS. It's the source of my power. My life's been on and up and up since then.
Checks out.
I mean, that's not true. Actually, it was not. Anyway, up next is Allegra.
Hi. All right. I think as the oh my god, why do you do this every time? As the library's fading, there's just one piece of paper kind of slowly floating and not fading. And I take it out of the air and I tuck it into my vest as the last of the library disintegrates. And I fall into 7, 8, 9.
Down and to the left.
This skirmish.
Back.
Everyone's just like, all right, everyone's being up in the fight, right?
Oh, this is violent. Oh, this is a lot. Okay. Roxy, good to see you again. You're very busy right now. I won't bother you. I will. I'm going to. No one's getting hurt. I think Keth isn't much of a fighter. Keth is very much like a gentle giant and a protective being, if anything. So I think that shadow is going to lengthen out of them, and like lightning eyes, thunder body, just kind of shifting and stretching around the wyvern and around Roxy, and just kind of acting as a shield at their backs whenever they're, doing full murders.
Excellent. And then this result, I guess, is it positive or negative?
Oh, it's positive. It's
positive.
7 minus 4. Yeah, positive.
So I think this ends up being like the net kills your team gets because of your additional intervention. So they're racking up these points because you're able to protect them on some very, very, very well. So you gain that whatever number of tokens that was. Very cool.
And I think I'm just gonna start yelling encouragement out at Roxy. Great. Oh, he's got your leg. No, you've got it. It's fine. You're doing an awesome job doing murder. Good job, Wyvern. I don't know where Kingfisher is, but you're doing good too. And they're not good at it. They're just kind of trying to be supportive and loving. Ow.
Thanks for the assist. I like your accent.
Oh, thanks. I was born with it. I can't really accept it anyway. Good job. I like your hair.
Beautiful. I think that takes us to Lou.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Where am I again? I'm in the void, aren't I?
Yeah, so we'll do the same thing. You can roll this, and then whichever direction you go, you can choose which one you would rather do.
So 9, which is
Yeah. So that is the rest hex.
I think I'm gonna resolve the void. actually.
All right. Very cool. So you'll take your highest roll and reference it here.
Okay. Well, I rolled 3 threes.
All right. I guess you have to tell this.
Tell the table about a time you got what you wanted, but then something complicated the situation. Something I wanted. I think in the past there was a moment where Onyx I think Onyx is like the thing he wants more than anything is to understand where he came from and why he has these feelings of regret and guilt that he can't place. And I think at some point, some previous dive, he came across the realization that stars don't die; they are killed. And that he is one of the beings that in the past has killed Star.
Ooh.
And that, I think, has been hard for him to work through.
Yeah. Yeah, he wanted to know more, and you got it, and then that's beautiful. Heartbreaking. Y'all have such great storytelling instincts, and I'm like,
All right, we're back. We're gonna fix the cameras.
hello. We are diving through the rift now too.
Yes.
This is what it feels like.
It's so true.
Okay, so we were wrapping up Lou, and then now I guess it would go to Allison, but I think Allison is a little busy. So I think if anyone would like to use an ability right now, or sort of reach out through space and time, use any move, spend tokens, generate tokens, that'll be a good time to do it.
Can I reach out to Onyx?
Sure.
I will spend a token. And I think Keth's shadow is like kind of rift jumping around in different hexes and like trying to like expand to the whole team, and it's not like quite getting to one solidly. It'll kind of glitch into one and then glitch out and then glitch into another one. But I think they come into the void with Onyx. Stars died. stars die. And if you kill them, it's part of the natural order, isn't it? How do we get new ones? The sky would be nothing but light if everything were stars. You do an important job. It's not a bad thing.
There's a responsibility that I don't remember agreeing to.
Do you
Why do I get to decide when stars and worlds die?
I think your decisions are how the universe decides. I don't think the universe has opinions, or choices, or any of it. But you're a product of the universe, right? You're pieces of stars, and pieces of planets, and pieces of things and people and birds and whatever else. It's not just you deciding, it's the universe itself. You're a part of everything, and everything's a part of you, so everything's kind of deciding when it finds its natural end.
We can't hear you, sorry.
All right. I think I see what you're saying. It's doing something that, while necessary, feel wrong, and having only the wrong aspects of it being seen and not the necessariness of it is difficult. But what you've said is true and helpful. Thank you.
Just because it's true doesn't mean it's easy. I'm sorry you have to deal with that, but you've got a team, and they care about you, and I care about you, and we know it's important, and we'll be here to support you and protect you, no matter what.
Can I give a token to a diver for any reason out of turn?
Yeah.
I feel like just narratively, Clockwork is flying by, kind of weighed down by this anchor, giant stopwatch that was sent up by Roxy, and as she streaks past, like the metal's clanging into like some rocks and things as she's falling past, and it sends off all these sparks, and they kind of like float in the air all around you, Onyx, just kind of suspended like in a formaldehyde or something. Like you can see all of the sparks just kind of like individually frozen there in space and time, and that's a token for you.
Gorgeous.
Can I add to that, actually? I'm gonna pull like a strand of my lightning hair out, and I'm gonna send it like careening through each of the different little motes of light, so that it's like a little like chain or bracelet or something, and add another token to it so that we can all.
As my team sort of starts to rally around me, I look off, sort of beyond the rift beyond the rift we're in, out into space at the truly infinite number of stars out in the dark void, and I believe in that moment that it's truly worth holding on, and will use that feature and take another token.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, this is so good. I'm just enjoying this so much. This is so good.
Sometimes a family is an angry old woman, a himbo, a giant, a sad star, and an even sadder clock.
And don't forget that the himbo has a surfboard that turns into a dragon.
Family.
That's family, okay?
I need that fan art.
Now I really want to do a Hexfall comic. I played with the idea, but I'm like, maybe I should do this because this is very cool.
Dope.
But just for the chat, Lou just used one of the Horizon Cloud's abilities, which is look forward to the dawn. Gain a token if you truly believe it's worth holding on. And I think that was just such a beautiful display of that sort of momentum you can have when you have people around you that care about you and support you. Whose turn is it?
It's
It
me.
was so cool that I just totally blanked out. Allison.
It's me. I was fixing our quantum shenanigans in the VOD. Yes, Clockwork is streaking through the void. I'm going to use her, or through the rift, excuse me. I'm going to use her ability to, let's see, when I roll to advance, move to any hex along the axis in the direction that I roll. So I'm going to see where I'm headed, but I'm headed far. That's a 2, a 1. Okay, maybe not that far. And a 2, 4.
Is that a 5?
Is it?
2, 1, 2, 2 is 5.
It's a 5.
Yeah, so
Basic math.
you would typically go towards the hex, but if you want to move, the move along the axis is not quite so useful on this roll. Like if you had rolled a straight down roll, you could move to any of those in from top to bottom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have a token. Can I re-roll something?
You could spend the token to adjust your roll by one side, the one that Shane gave you, the one that Roxy gave you to pull you down. If you just use that to pull you down in the downward direction, and then you can just choose.
Yeah, so I would just go right down that line in the middle.
Yeah, so you just choose whichever hex you want in that line.
Okay, I love that because I think, it's the chain that's pulling me down anyway.
Yeah.
And I kind of pictured this free fall. So yeah, I think I'm banking to the right and then I kind of shift all of my weight into this giant pocket watch that's acting like an anchor drifting down through this rift. And yeah, I'm just careening downwards in total diver position, all of the wind streaking past me, and I have both my hands on the chain as I'm just falling forward. And is there any square we haven't explored yet? Any type?
Rest, boss. I think rest and boss are the two choices.
Gotta go boss.
Boss.
So yes, Clockwork is going to careen into a boss fight.
Yeah, so how does this, so this is actually you using your ability too with your geometry. I think essentially you're going kind of faster, that you're appearing in that line where you would in a future point in time almost. So I'm wondering, what does this look like anything, or is it really, you can totally say, no, it's just being pulled down by the chain, which is totally fine. Just wondering if this is the activation of the ability, if it looks like something.
Yeah, I think, so my character, it says, geometergs reject traditional ways of traversing space, exploiting corners and angles to the rift where they want to be. So I think the chain and the pocket watch are the thing that's traveling in that linear pattern, but there's all of these obstacles in the way, and so I'm almost like, kind of like a stretching motion, like my body is kind of jutting out in very, I don't know, elastic ways, but because of the phasing ability, I'm going from 3D to 2D to sometimes I'm just a line. Sometimes I form a spiraling light show, and I'm just kind of just moving around things, and things are also moving around me. And it's kind of unclear where one of us ends and the other begins as we're like flying through these objects that I'm kind of a part of as well.
I'm imagining, you know how in like old cartoons they would jump into the paintings and they would do chase scenes through the paintings.
Yes.
I'm imagining this is through the Picasso Cubist section.
Yes.
And if you turn on that side and you're just like going through and everybody's just sort of like everybody's triangles for some reason, and all the shapes are sort of just like flashing to different stuff and intersecting in weird ways that your mind could not possibly comprehend.
100%. And after all of it, she kind of clutches at the pocket where the trinket is and just makes sure that it's still in there. Takes a little peek, and it's kind of forming and reforming, and it like at one point grows an eyeball and then like turns back to normal, and she's like, okay, and she just pats the pocket twice.
So the boss hex is an intense fight with a powerful monster or another diver. Choose one of your die rolls, subtract the other 2 rolls from this die. If the result is positive, gain that many tokens and turn the space into a solid or void hex, your choice, as you're sort of like clearing the boss. If it's negative, take that many injuries. Narrate the fight based on this result.
Oh boy, oh boy.
So what did you roll on the dice?
It was like a 2-2-1 situation.
That's right. It was a 2-2-1 situation. So actually not as bad as it could be.
Good. So
I mean, you could make it worse for yourself if you want, but
yeah, can I do like a 1? Can I start with the 1?
you could, and then you would subtract 3 from it, and you would take 2 injuries.
Oh, that's bad. That's the bad one. Okay, I would like to make it positive, and gain that many tokens.
So you would have to, you have to combine the numbers in such a way. So this is sort of like, it's more of like a puzzle. It's a puzzle game to determine how combat goes, essentially. So you have a 2-2-1. You have to, I would say you would probably want to choose the 2. And then the boss gets the 2 and the 1. So it would be a 2 minus 3. So it would only be 1 injury.
I see. So I can't do the positive.
You can't make it positive based on the rolls that you have.
Beautiful. Basic math again. Yes.
Although, check your character sheet. I think you can spend a token, if you have any, to re-roll a die in a boss or skirmish hex.
Unless I started with any, I think it's just the one I got from Roxy, which I spent.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you didn't get into you didn't run into any hexes that generated tokens.
I don't believe so. No, I was busy flinging people around.
Yeah. Let me just double check just to see.
Is Clockwork in a one hex from me?
Oh, sorry, I don't believe I moved myself. Here I am.
Oh yeah, move yourself down. Not within 1 hex, but within 2.
Yeah.
So let me. Well, okay. So I think what's going to happen is this fight begins. What does this monster look like? I'm going to say I'll decide that like you're sort of on this sort of large boulder that's falling through space, and there's like a flat, it's Final Destination.
Nice.
There's no items. Both have to choose Fox. But yeah, so it's this sort of this like flat playing field that's falling through the rift.
Can everyone in my party give me one description of something that, as I look around on this like flat plane of existence, like what's one thing that I see streaking around us, and that will help me decide what boss this is.
Slime.
Okay.
Like nebulous slime floating through space.
Okay.
A big muscly lion guy.
Sharkman's cousin.
Just a big oiled lion guy.
Okay.
I think little like chickens that are like a rubber duck, but they're like, those pilot fish that follow sharks, and I think they're following the lion guy.
Nice. Oh, we can't hear you, Onyx.
A centaur made of brass, but every time they step, instead of a clopping sound, it makes a little trumpet noise.
Oh my god. So I think the boss is a kind of he's like a humanoid shaped, but like all of the limbs are like a dripping, glooping slime that just like but he's wearing a uniform that is like a humanoid uniform like made out of cloth, but like it just contains slime like in it, and it is the uniform of a zookeeper. And he has a big ring of keys, and he's got like just like a zookeeper's net and like other things that would help him capture animals, like a taser or something. And as these animals are floating all around in the slime, he's just like looking around and wildly shooting off the taser.
Dangerous. I think. So, what is your character's first instinct here in this?
Oh man, Clockwork. She checks her pocket. She's got her trinket. She's probably gonna try to phase all around this slime and not be touched by it. Maybe try to take the taser away if she can.
Yeah, I think as you go for the taser, that's when it was a slime pseudopod that you didn't see coming. There was another one. There was another arm on the other side, and it gets you. I think it grabs you. You get the slime. It just starts to ooze, and then chucks you across the island. And I think that it's enough time for the other creatures to get away. But you've taken one injury, so mark that on your character sheet. Okay. And then, if you choose, on your next turn, you can just depart. You can just fall out. You're near the edge now. It's thrown you towards the edge. You've taken the damage, so you can choose to just dib. You don't have to fight the boss. And that's our third round, right? Mm-hmm. How is everybody feeling?
Good.
Good. Okay. Bring it back to Roxy. I think let's do one more round, and then we'll sort of start to wrap up.
Yeah. Can I blast through like all my tokens in one go?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right. So I want to use one token to blast through a solid hex within 3 spaces of me. So I can see Onyx like falling, and I see everyone else like having these nice moments with them. And therapy's not really Proxy's thing, nor is talking to people, nor is like expressing any sort of kind of like emotion or affection. So instead, she just like does the only thing she knows how to do and just blasts through a giant rock with her head.
Hell yeah.
Do I move with this move?
I'm gonna say you can like blast it with however you want to flavor it, but you return to that space afterwards. Yeah. I think the way the rift might work, this is my spitball, and just you're borrowing that space for the moment, but you have to give it back later.
Okay. So I blast the solid space into all its like constituent parts, and I think that the solid space is like a falling dead city. Like maybe it was once populated and it was able to survive in the rift just like our hometown, but it has since fallen into disrepair and become dislodged from time and space. And Roxy is just going to devastate it and turn it into thousands of rocks floating in the air, and she is going to bounce off a couple of those rocks, kick a couple of those rocks, and create 4 giant meteors, which she is sending to Clockwork as 4 tokens to help with their boss fight.
Woo! Hell yes. Yeah, the Vulcanist got a lot of. You can make meteors to send to your friends, because I love a floating meteor swarm, swirling around you. How you can't beat that.
Is that 4?
4.
All right.
And so then I'm going to roll, and that's 1, 1, and 4, so that's a 6.
That's down into the right. right. Yes, down and to the right.
And this is a rest space?
It is. And the rest space... reprieve, sorry. It's called reprieve. Kind divers, or simply those with the survival skills, will often leave campsites behind on small floating islands for others to use. You can take a rest here. Describe to the table what you see and what kind of person you think stayed here before you. Clear one injury and any conditions of your choice. You don't have to take a rest here, but you can.
Yeah, I think maybe there's another dive team out at the moment.
Sure.
And they're set up at this table at the reprieve. And I think Roxy's getting pretty tired. Like, she's pretty blasted after those like 2 moves.
Yeah.
And she's looking forward to hitting this reprieve station, and she sees that there's another dive team there, and there's plenty of room and food and space, and she just tears past it. Doesn't stop.
Yeah, that's very Roxy. Now I'll give you an option, since you've turned down the reprieve. If you'd like to move one space from this space, you can.
You know I'm going to the boss space, right?
Hell yeah, head out to that boss space. Yes, I think that will be the move. I don't think we're going to resolve that boss yet. I think the denying the reprieve is the character moment for the turn, which I absolutely love. But yeah, I think I don't know if you want to reveal this or not. Is it specific? I know it was like sort of like the loner thing, very very like no, it's okay. But maybe the boss in the distance perhaps was a enticement, or was it solely because Roxy didn't want to be near people?
It was not wanting to be near people, but
Cool.
throwing yourself into a boss fight is
Yeah, sure.
like the same instinct, like that same kind of level of self-destructiveness.
You ever throw yourself into a boss fight just because you don't want to talk to people?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
That's life. That's just life.
That's just life. Excellent. Beautiful.
I'm doing it right now. I'm supposed to be somewhere else.
That's the ultimate introvert move.
Yeah.
I'd
Morgan.
rather be boss fighting.
Yeah, I'd rather be.
Yeah. All right. So I guess I'll move first and see where I go.
Remember, the library has some tokens left there, I believe, right? So if you can angle yourself that way somehow, I think there was 3 tokens there. So even if you have to spend 1 or even 2 to get there, you might come out on top.
Yeah. That's 2 1s and a 3 for me. So 5.
Yes. That's going to be down and to the right, which would send you into the solid hex from above, which is slightly different than... so if you roll towards the solid one from above, you land safely on top of that solid hex. It's when you smack into it from below that you get stunned. But yeah, so you could just land on it safely, and there's really nothing to do there. It's more of an obstacle.
Let's see. The wyvern rolled a 4, a 2, and a 3.
So that's
9.
9. And a 9 is down and to the left.
Goes up here.
Yes.
Let's see.
Y'all, your wyvern and you are just all about them duels. Gotta tell this himbo love story.
Oh man. Okay. I think so. There's a thing here that says I can always summon my wyvern.
Yes.
So that includes here where like I can just call it back to the hex I'm on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to I think I have to spend a token to switch places with my wyvern. I'm going to go back to my boyfriend.
This is the best. I love this so much. This is so funny.
And then I'm going to summon my wyvern back to me.
Hell yeah.
And when we combine, I get my surfboard back, which just makes me more confident. I think it's like more powerful, but it's just confidence. Very unearned, I think. And yeah, it says 9,000. So whether or not I become Kingfisher 9,000.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
The fusion strats. Yeah, I think maybe this duel that however you are going to assign these dice, maybe this encounter happens in the current moment, whatever that might mean for those falling through the rift. But maybe this is like the encounter we're going to end this part of this chapter of your story on.
Yeah. I think what I'll do is I will send some tokens to Roxy. Because they're boss battling. So I'm just gonna do some finger guns and shoot some tokens their way.
Hell yeah. How many?
3.
Woo!
We're loaded up, Roxy.
Okay, so then it's just the duel here.
Yes. So give us the cliffhanger, I guess. Make it so that we have to play again on the stream because the people will be clamoring for the next part of Himbo love story.
Yeah, I think we're both maybe in a state of like advanced retreat, where we're like doing a little like we're still kind of fighting, but like we're dancing around the subject of like, what was that kiss, bro? I don't know. You kiss me. You tell me what that kiss was, bro.
Bro.
And I think our eyes are locked and nothing else exists.
Yeah, the rift. I think in y'all's perception, the rift disappears.
Yeah, I think. On the sheet it says if there's no clear winner, I think we're both winners.
Yeah. I think y'all are gonna just that's where we're gonna leave your character for sure. That is, I mean, you can't stay away from that dual space.
No.
Beautiful, Allegra.
All right. Where am I? Oh yeah. So after the skirmish has kind of died down, and my shadow bits are starting to kind of like coalesce back, I have a 7, so I go directly down into the mist, I think. Let me pull that one up again. Shoo, mist.
So you'll choose the location, the visions, and then you'll generate tokens.
I think it's a really unfortunate repeat of the first thing that happened in the in this dive, and they're back in the labyrinth and crashing feet down on the brick and feet down on the brick and feet down on the brick. And they're thinking about the rest of their dive team, and I can't get to any of them anymore, and it's frustrating. Even with the reach of the shadows, it's not enough, and I think I'm feeling lost without them.
Can I use a power out of turn just for my own noodle?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on, Allegra.
And I think finally I land hard enough on one of the bricks that it kind of cracks and crumbles away into mist, and through that tiny little hole, I can see the boss battle going on with Roxy and who else is over there? I can't.
Clockwork.
Clockwork. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, Roxy and Clockwork. And it's not big enough for me to kind of get through, but it's enough that I can kind of squeeze my arm into the hole, and just wait and hold. I'm just gonna wait until they're all fighting, but I will send in like 4 more little strands of lightning, and 2 to Roxy, and 2 to Clockwork.
Holy moly.
So y'all have a ton of tokens, and that's a lie. Actually, that's a lie. I'm gonna give you each 1 so that I can use this other thing potentially later.
Ooh.
And I'll just be like staring at them and feeling trapped and not knowing where the rest of the team is and just reaching as hard as I can. Come on, you can do this. You have to make it through.
If you're open to it, and I can use this out of turn, I'd like to pull an adjacent diver into my hex.
Yes.
Oh,
With
yes.
my geomaturge move. So as your
Hell
hand
yeah.
is stretching through, I think Clockwork will look up. And it's that moment where she remembers holding hands with her partner before they both jumped for the dive. And she sees the hand, and it's like, that's all she wants, is to just like have that moment of being solid again. And she reaches up towards you, Keth, and her hand just like splits into like a Pink Floyd laser light show, like beam, 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 like all over the place, like no kind of tangibility to her anymore. She's just like split all over, and this light envelops you, and you kind of phase through the rock and travel through into our space, landing in front of this very intense zookeeper.
Hell yeah.
Amazing. I'm gonna try and like gather all the light and like extend my shadow to like gather the light and help them feel like solid and real again, and just try to like put them in a corporeal form that feels safe again for this fight.
As Keth does that, Clockwork does reform, but is very much that cubist painting, and is kind of just like shifting in and out of like 2D, 3D space, but looks at you and like flips the part of her visor up, and you can see her eyes are no longer crying at all. They look like they're glaring with like this intensity, and she looks over at Roxy and looks to you, Keth, and does the superhero nod. Okay,
You're gonna destroy it. I believe in you.
let's free the animals. And she just kind of cracks her knuckles.
Wonderful. Beautiful. The power of friendship. That's all I wanted, is to write the Naruto game. That's gonna be my statement later on. People interview me. Every game I've ever made is Naruto.
One step closer to Naruto.
Every game is just a different kind of Naruto. Blue, right?
Yeah.
Blue. Blue, your character, Onyx, has had some beautiful moments of connection with the other members of the party. Roxy has even blasted open the solid space with a mighty headbutt. And typically, when you destroy solid hexes, they get turned into, I think void or something else. But I had this map prepared, and there's a skirmish beneath it. So if you land on that, you can enjoy a little skirmish, which can generate a lot of tokens.
I did roll a 9, but I'm going to use a token to go straight down to the skirmish.
Hell yeah. Sounds good. Run the skirmish. Tell us how that plays out.
I think because I think the flavor that was given for this square was that it was like an abandoned city falling through the void.
Yes.
But I think as I'm falling between all of these old abandoned buildings, bits of sidewalk and lamps and signs falling with me. All of these extra dimensional, like almost cobbled together in that kind of like the island of Dr. Moreau way, where it's like a pig's head on a cat's body, but instead of clearly being stitched there, it's like seamless. But there's still a clear division between all the like weird animal or monster parts. And Onyx just doesn't even react, just the light and the heat from their body grows and radiates and incinerates anything that comes too close. I rolled 2 4s and a 1, so it's a 7.
I think that's the most that's maximum result of that roll of the skirmish. Yeah, literally, I think there's even like, you know how in like Dragon Ball Z, like the light and flash, and then just like the things just like disintegrate. Even the buildings disintegrate. Like there's just like a huge area where it's clear. And I think what I was thinking, if y'all are okay with this, is that actually this skirmish was like perhaps the boss's minions coming and starting to swarm in. And I think and if this is not in character for Onyx doing it for this reason, you could say so, but I think Onyx defending their friends with this huge blast of light so that they can take care of this boss unencumbered by the ads. I think that's how I'm sort of seeing it play out.
That's definitely in character for Onyx. I think usually the issue is that Onyx is too much in their own head to be of any help, but having that chat earlier has helped them to stop brooding for the meantime. I think I'm gonna give, was 3 people in the boss hex? I think I'm gonna give everyone in the boss hex 3 tokens each.
3 tokens each?
Oh my god. I'm
Yeah, you
maxed out.
probably maxed. I think, Lou, you probably maxed out the sheet. But beyond the max, I guess I have to add more. I guess 8 wasn't enough. So by replay test. Excellent, beautiful. What does this gift look like? How does it manifest?
I think it's like for me, the perfect amount of sunlight is early spring, late afternoon, filtered through a window, like in a sunroom or something, and it's like that sort of like you could almost fall asleep in it. It's not too hot. It's not like that sort of heat where you wish it was just a little bit hotter, and it's not, it's just that perfect like spring sunny day that radiates over.
Yeah, how could that not be worth 9 tokens total? That's a good feeling. Beautiful. Allison, we're sticking around. Now, how do you all want to do this? Because everybody, a lot of people in this hex have gained tokens. I also don't want to step on Allison's turn or anything.
No, please. A collaborative cinematic experience. I'm all about it.
Cool. So I kind of will leave you all to describe what happens with this. If you have questions about the mechanics, of course, you can ask me, but I would love to leave it in your capable hands.
Just a quick mechanics question. How would you recommend we look to spend this wealth of tokens? Like, how does one min-max my tokens?
I would roll your thing first, and then see if you can make something work with that as it is. And then you can always spend a token to re-roll one of the die.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
you could just keep spending them until you have 441, I guess. Essentially, or sorry, not 441, 411, because the boss gets 2 dice and you only get 1. So actually, it might come up that you will have to spend multiple tokens. There's probably other ways too, but that's the one that I think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
So instead of us all having like different goes, could I just lend my ability to Allison so that like she can use it on her go?
Or
So you get to add 1 to 1 die of your choice against this boss.
Oh, nice.
And I'm gonna use my ability as well and just nullify 1 incoming injury at any point. And if that doesn't work, I'll take an injury from another character. So
nice.
just full shield energy.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, let me roll. It's a 1, a 2, and a 3.
I have a quick question, actually. What happens if you have a neutral result, as you would here? There's a 3 and a 1 and a 2, which would be 0.
That's true. So perhaps, let's see. I mean, this would be the time to re-roll one, but let's see what would happen if you let it rack. As written, nothing would happen, but that's kind of boring. But because as written, it doesn't address it. It just says if it's positive, it does this. If it's negative, it does this. So I could see you interpreting it as being like, well, it's sort of like a stalemate, and there's other spots where you sort of stay in that hex and hash it out. I could. That's a good note. I'll like add that to the boss description. But yeah, Allison, what would you like to do here?
I would like to re-roll the 2, right? Because we're looking for a 4-1-1.
Or if you roll a 1 on that one, you'll still get a positive result. If you have a 3 and a 1.
Yeah, if you have a 3-1-1, yeah, you would still win.
All right, re-rolling that
you
one.
have +1.
And you have +1 to one of your die, so you do have a 4.
Okay.
If you want to add that, or if you want to re-roll the 3 to get a 4 and get a 5.
Oh.
But that would still be a positive result with Roxy's thing, because it's a 3-1-1. What 3-1-2? Yeah. So now it's a 4-1-2, which would leave a positive result of 1.
Yeah. So I guess, Allison, the question is, you get to decide essentially how this final boss fight goes by what result you go for. Like, you could just take it here and eke out that win, and it's a tough victory, but you make it. Or you could try to get that supreme destruction. You have all the resources from your friends. You basically have a spirit bomb worth of tokens in your hands.
I think we all know the answer to this question.
All right.
Supreme Destruction, activate. Okay, so then I'm re-rolling just one of these, because I'm still adding on to one of these dice, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Correct. So re-roll to your heart's content as long as you have the tokens to do so, and then add that 1 to your highest one. And
So we're hoping for a 4 and adding for a 5, correct? Oops. I'm
yeah,
rolling.
if you want maximum destruction, you want a 4-1-1, and then it'll become 5-1-1.
Yeah, I'm just rolling ones over and over again. Like I just did, this is my 4th
So now
roll.
you should have 2. So you should have 2 1s then, right?
Yeah. Did
And so
I
then-
want a 1, not a 4? I got it 4 times.
You want 2 1s and then you want a 4.
Yes, I'm trying to get that 4.
Okay, keep spending them.
Okay.
Can I give my 8 tokens?
Yes.
Okay, you have my 8 tokens.
I also dumped the 3 I have.
I kid you not. I am just rolling ones, but I'm trying to get this 4. Hold on.
I think
That's a-
so. As you're rolling, I'm going to narrate a little bit. Oh, there's a 4.
It's on the last one though. On the very
on the-
last one of my tokens. Which
Okay,
is very
so-
satisfying.
I think narrate based on that process, I would say.
Oh man, I feel like with Keth kind of keeping Clockwork formed somewhat, Clockwork is just kind of moving through this slime as though it's not even there, just kind of going within the creature, outside the creature, kind of like searching for some kind of interior way to bust it open. And I think she positions herself kind of in the interior of its gooey brain space, and she's curled up in there almost like in a fetal position in this kind of like globular, like plasmatic environment. and she's shifting and changing, and like parts of her limbs are like sticking out of the creature and then back inside, and she's locked eyes with Keth and with Roxy, and in the background we see like the light of Onyx's explosion kind of like vaporizing all of the incoming reinforcements, and they kind of fall like dark confetti like at a very macabre party behind the creature. I guess also just for funsies, a silhouette of Kingfisher and the Shark Man, like backlit, just rotating eternally. Did somebody drop? Oh no,
we lost Lou.
we lost Lou.
It looked like their video was having some trouble.
Oh, are they back?
Yeah, back. Okay. Lou's loading. But are you back, Lou? Can you hear us?
Sorry, my internet decided to have a moment there.
No, that's okay. And so yeah, Clockwork's inside this like amniotic fluid inside the brain space, and eyes locked to Roxy and Kath, and you guys can narrate from here.
You want to go first?
I feel like Keth is still like trying to envelop, and like the giant that is their shadow is almost like bending over the zookeeper monster, and is like a second skin on the amniotic fluid to make sure that it doesn't really or that when it ruptures we can catch Clockwork and she doesn't go spinning off into space.
Right. Hell yeah.
And I think Roxy keeps on looking for this opening to just do what she does and blast through. And as the fight goes on and she sees like Clockwork and Kev like just manhandle this zookeeper, she realizes that she doesn't need to smash this. And she just kind of, I think she just floats in the rift and just kind of appreciates the moment of watching her two friends absolutely destroy this guy.
Gorgeous. So I think that takes us back to Allison. I want you to finish them off.
I think Clockwork in this moment lets go, and instead of trying to ground herself, gives in to the geometric, spiraling, amorphous creature that she is, and it's like seeing into a quantum space. She is everywhere and nowhere, and with this expansion of her physical self into all of these cubist shapes and lights and angles, this thing just explodes, but instead of like her careening away, Keth's shadow keeps her there, and so she has both lost and found herself in this moment and is covered in disgusting and probably stinky goo. She looks up to Kath and Roxy, I guess, floating by, and gives a wave, and there's just like this chemtrail of light as like 17 million hands wave in unison. We did it!
That was incredible!
Fuck, killed it!
I think I lost my trinket.
You don't need it.
I don't need it. I don't need it!
I think with the powerful blast of math, the math blast, beautiful moment of self-acceptance and realization. I think the force of that kind of ruptures the whole stage you were on. The whole rock starts to crumble, and you all sort of coalesce into a timeline where this was the job that you were hired to take to destroy this monster on this sector of the rift, which falling through, this is what it means to fall through time. You were falling through space, but now you're sort of arriving at a time, and the job is done, you're falling through the rift. There's but one thing left to do, and that is to deploy your parachute, which for the audience at home, the parachute is slang for the device that teleports divers back home to Stratus Key. If they do not hit this at the end of their mission, they will fall endlessly into the rift, accelerating until only light can see what they become. So it's an important part of I think the ritual of playing Hexfall, of really closing it out. We'll go around the table in the same order. Do you deploy your parachute? And you can just give a one-word answer if you like. If you want to give more, you can. But we'll go starting with Roxy. Do you deploy your parachute?
I think you kind of see Roxy falling, and she just gives herself away completely to the fall at this point, and everything just becomes like a blur of lights. All the features are completely distorted and just become streaks of light. And in this moment, you start to see, like at the edge of her view, all of these, like, what she thinks of as the fractal clones. Every time that she's like taken apart and put back together, there's different versions of her out there in different universes. And you know, there's big Roxy, and then small Roxy, and old and young. There's a baby Roxy. One is just a big sexy shark man.
What a twist.
And she watches as like each of these Roxys fail to deploy their parachute. They just speed up and disappear into the light. And she feels herself in that moment like weighing, not deploying her parachute. And then she feels this spring warmth on her skin. And she pulls her parachute.
Yes. I love it. I just wanted to sit in that for a second. Morgan.
Yeah, I think the big boss explosion happened like quite far away. Everything looked like ants. And I'm just there hanging out with Sharkman. And we're having just like a conversation. And I'm just like, the rift is like an ocean, man. It takes you where it wants to go. And for some reason, it kept bringing me back here, man. And it's messing me up. And Sharkman is like, you know, it's about time to pull the parachute, but, you know, you go first. And I'm getting really competitive. I'm like, no, man, you go first, man. And we're just like getting back into like our competitive streak. Like, no, come on. Like, I think I won here, you know? And we end up bickering, and then until we like physically end up just pulling each other's parachutes.
Oh. That's so gay. I love it. It's just so beautifully gay.
The queer experience.
It's amazing.
They're so gay, they had to pull each other's parachutes. Allegra.
I think as the final battle stage kind of disintegrates, Keth also gives over to the fall but like expands once more until their shadow is almost like a cloud, and they're slowly falling, no faster than anyone else, maybe a little bit slower even. And they watch to make sure all of their friends are out of the rift, or they watch to tell the story of where they went, until the last moment that they can, or until the last one of their team pulls their parachute, and then they'll pull their parachute.
That's beautiful. Lou.
It's fitting that I go after that because Onyx, every time they jump, they fall as far as is safely possible. And I think you see this streaking bright comet falling and
Oh no.
Oh no, we
I
lost
think
you
Onyx
at end.
froze.
Is that Onyx not pulling their parachute?
Oh no. We don't
Alex,
have
please pull your parachute.
Onyx. Oh no. What a inopportune time to freeze. What a cliffhanger.
Oh, my heart.
I can't narrate around this. I don't know what happened.
Does it not count if he doesn't say it?
My gosh, this is the most quantum thing that could have happened.
I don't know yet if they don't check the box.
They're in a constant state of pulling it and not pulling it forever.
There's that branching. We can't, if we're not looking at, we can't look inside the box. Which is oh,
You're back.
They're back.
What happens? What happens next?
We lost
Hi.
you at the end.
how much of that we get?
We heard
Onyx?
you usually you wait until the last possible moment to pull, and then it went away. It went away again! No!
Wait, you're back.
you're back.
They're back.
Yeah, my engine's so bad today. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. This is delicious.
How far through did we get?
We got
You lost
through
it.
you saying you usually wait until the last possible, plausible moment, and then you pull the parachute every other time.
Right.
But this time, and then it cut out.
Oh no! This time I pulled the parachute. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Your internet understands drama, okay?
Yeah.
And then Allison.
I think Clockwork is pumping her fist in the air, and it's just a million light show fists pumping in the air as well. I don't need it. And I think she'll feel her feet on the edge, but she doesn't really feel her feet anymore. She's just mostly light and angle and space and shape. And she looks up at Keth, and she's falling backwards, but she's not even falling. She's just kind of everywhere and nowhere. She's just a geometry problem at this point, kind of banking off of shapes everywhere. And she says, I might come back. I'll see how far I can go. And she just kind of drifts downwards and does not pull the parachute, but also kind of has this confidence that that's not the end for her. And she gives a little salute, and all of the Pink Floyd triangles kind of radiate upwards towards the rest of the party and just let everyone know that she appreciates everything they've done.
Oh. And I think we'll actually end it there.
Oh, my heart.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and thank you all for playing my game and giving yourself so fully to it. That was better than I had a most probable case. I had a worst case. I had a best case. This surpassed my best case prediction in my head of how it would go. So thank you so much for just getting it. I don't know, you guys just thank you so much. And thank you so much, Allison, for hosting us and inviting me to do this. This was a great time and a great excuse to test Hexfall.
Thank you, Lex. Thank you so much for making this game and for making Caltrop Core. It has made so many beautiful games, and I'm grateful to you for sharing this with everyone and for inviting us to be part of this game. I will turn it over to you, actually. Usually at the end we do just a round of who are we as humans? Are there any cool projects we're working on? And I'll drop some links in chat as you guys are sharing. So I'll actually hand it back over to you, Lex, if you want to share some of the stuff that you're up to and where we can find you on the internet.
Sure, I'll do mine, and we'll do the same turn order because we're so used to it now. I'm Lex, Titanomachy RPG. I make indie games. I made the indie game that we just played. So go find it over at my itch, Titanomachy RPG. Actually, don't go to that one. Go to titanrpg.com, and that's where all my stuff is hosted. You'll be able to find your way to my itch page where you can get this game. Download it for free if you're watching this, please. And yeah, this is a little secret. I'm not going to give away it all, but I've going to be at Big Bad Con at the end of October for a very cool panel. More details to come. And also a podcast I'm on called The Etherlog is launching on the 13th. I play an unhinged little grief cleric in a homebrew world that we all made together, and it's fabulous. I will pass it now to Shane.
So I'm Fat Magic RPG on Twitter. I'm currently making Fat Magic, which is a 5e supplement that has a huge adventure that's set in a world that's been warped by culinary magic. Got food subclasses, culinary magic, and lots of foodie monsters. And that is, the Kickstarter is over, but that's available to pre-order on BackerKit.
It's very good. I'm playing in the playtest. It's the best.
Lex also designed a whole bunch of her subclasses.
Oh wow.
Yes.
I'm
It's
I'm
the
obsessed
vast majority
with
of them.
RPG stuff, so I am delighted by this.
It's very, Allison, it's very good. Oh my God. Go to my website, titanrpg.com. The link to the master post of all the subclasses on Twitter is on my website because it's part of my portfolio.
It's titanrpg.com.
Yep, and that'll redirect to Titanomachy RPG or whatever, because who has time to learn how to spell that?
Wonderful. Thank you. Everything's in chat.
Then is Morgan.
Yeah, I'm Morgan. You can find me on Twitter at Morgan_Ormond. I have a few things. First thing, I did play test really early on Fat Magic RPG, and I can attest it was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. I have some podcasts of my own. I produce and host a TV Watch podcast where a bunch of queers watch a very straight show called The Vampire Diaries, and we talk about whether or not it's actually any good.
Oh my God.
God bless you.
Amazing.
We're actually recording 2 episodes from season 2 tomorrow.
It's my favorite podcast.
It ended up being way more fun than expected. And then I have a few fiction podcasts. The first one is called Earthbreak, starring Jenny Slate, and that's a kind of a sci-fi horror fiction. And then I have Shoe Bones, bone-chilling horror on a shoestring budget. And that one I produced myself in my own home, so it's not as good. And
Great.
the first 3 episodes are out, and I'm currently working with my musician to get the next 3 out for Halloween this year. And the last thing is Shane and I are co-working on a podcast together for the Rusty Quill called Broken Hearted Monsters. If Shane, do you want to just say quickly what Broken Hearted Monsters is?
Yeah, Dr. Frankenstein dies and his creature has to make a road trip across America with his ex-boyfriend Dracula.
Oh my God.
It's going to be great.
Oh my God, I need
Amazing.
this
Amazing.
yesterday.
So yeah,
So cool.
find me on Twitter.
Then Lou or Allegra, sorry.
Hey, I'm Allegra. I'm bad at these, always, forever, every single time they happen. You can find me on Twitter at LegoM2RS. More regularly, I am hanging out with Mayday Roleplay because I'm part of Mayday Roleplay. Right now, we're running a Vampire the Masquerade campaign set in Las Vegas called Vegas by Night. I also play a shadow person in that, I realized.
Ooh.
But I'm pissed off in that one. It's super fun. We've played other systems like Orpheus, which is a White Wolf system, Delta Green, which is X-Files meets Eldritch Horror. We play D&D, all kinds of crazy stuff. We've got a bunch of really great podcasts, both from streams and also like professionally edited and with cool soundy things. Eli does an amazing job. I'm also in a podcast called The Hollow Medium that comes out in October. It's a horror, story from the 1920s about a woman whose home is haunted and her trying to figure out what to do about it. Yeah, my face hurts from smiling. You're all gifts to this world. Thank you for letting me play with you. This was a blast. That's all I have to say. Goodbye.
Mayday Roleplay's 5e campaign, Ashoka Precious Cargo, is what introduced me to Allegra, and that's how we became friends. And you should listen to it. It's very good. It's like
You'll
12
hear a familiar accent.
It's 12 episodes. You'll meet Keth's like alternate universe self.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, Lou.
No, Lou.
They're
Lou
frozen
frozen again.
Lou.
Yes, Lou, come back to us.
Lou's computer loves drama.
Truly.
I mean, don't we all?
Don't we all?
We all.
Okay, in the interim, can I ask a spoiler question about the Vampire Diaries? Do you go on like Team Damon or Team? Oh God, what's the other one?
Stefan?
Is there like a team split?
There kind of is.
They're both
Because, in their own ways, you know.
Team David is more like Team Shitty.
There's Lou.
Lou, tell us about yourself. You're back.
Someone's downloading something. I'm gonna go tell someone off after this. I'm back. I'm Lou. Don't remember my Twitter because I just changed it. Hang on.
Say friend Lou.
I'm Faithfriend Lou on Twitter. I'm not currently a part of any long-standing projects, but you know, I pop up on one-shots and charity streams every now and then. If you want to put me in a project, please, I'd love to. That's all I have to say for now.
I love it. Wholeheartedly recommend playing with Lou.
Yes,
and
do
with
it.
all of you. Thank you all so much. I'm Allison. I'm Insight Check. You've been watching First Fridays, which is where a guest GM takes over the channel and causes some chaos. And I feel like mission accomplished for tonight's stream. We also have all proceeds from this stream going to a charity, so I will drop that information in chat again so you can learn more about the Marsha P. Johnson Institute. On this channel, you can see narrative video games as well as TTRPGs. And next week on the 13th, I am running the RPG part of our collaboration with Detect Magic, where Detect Magic teaches folks how to craft, and we take their crafts they made for their characters, and then we play a game with those same characters. So in this mashup, we have crocheting and Brindlewood Bay. So all of the players have crocheted something for their character, and they are old lady murder mystery mavens, and they're going to be solving a mystery next week here on the channel. And the crafts will be in a giveaway as well. So come hang out with us and see some old ladies solve mysteries. I am so thrilled to have you all on. Thank you, chat, for hanging out. And thank you, Lex. Hopefully we can see you again soon. And I can't wait to play your next game, because this game was dope as hell. So thank you for running it for us.
Oh yeah, the next game comes out next month. It's Golden Beetle Playground. It's Metabots, basically.
Yes! Fantastic. Everyone go check that out. Have a good weekend, y'all. And we're going to raid somebody, so don't skip out here. We're going to go to outro, and we'll raid someone and pass the love on very soon. Have a good night.